This time on Kawaii-Fi Radio, we discovered the true reason Tifa had to move to Melbourne.
I don't like girls, they are grody and they have cooties.
That's why I'm over here and not over there.
We sent you away!
We sent Tifa to Melbourne because she's a girl. And we dive into the wacky, wild and unusual world of Girls and Panzers.
But I just moved here to get away from the taxi. You're like, what is going on? And then
It hits all the
it's
right kind of story beats.
Yeah.
I love the way you just said that, Tifa. I moved here to get away from the tanks.
It's over 9,000! NANI?
Configure the language logic interface for Japanese.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
Konnichiwa and welcome. You tune into Kawaii-Fi Radio, the podcast we dive into the world of anime, manga, and otaku culture, and Japanese culture, and anything else we kind of feel like talking about.
Basically.
I'm Kyle. With me is Kenny and Tifa. How's everyone doing?
Hey,
Hello.
Tifa.
Hello. So, this episode, we're talking about two things. The first is tanks.
I like tanks.
Yes, those things used in war. Mm-hmm. This other is Modell, and that is German for girl.
I don't like girls, they are grody and they have cooties.
That's why I'm over here and not over there.
We sent you away!
We sent Tifa to Melbourne because she's a girl.
It's the boys only club. We've got the sign on the door.
It's only okay if you're 3 hours away.
Yes.
But in all seriousness, that's it. Tanks and girls. So girls who fight other girls in tanks, all to apparently improve their womanliness and their suitability for marriage.
I loved that. The propaganda film they showed at the start. It's like, if you drive a tank, then boys will like you.
I mean, okay, but...
Certain ones will, yes.
So we're talking Girls and Panzers this episode. We were going to do it last episode, but we just had a few things kind of come up and I was a little tired because I'm over 30.
We're old men and grody girl.
Is this going to be the whole
This
episode?
is,
for you?
yes.
So,
Sorry,
look, if you-
I'm kidding, Tifa. You know I love you.
Now, if you are new to the podcast, welcome. Hello to our regular listeners as
Hey,
well. Hope everyone's been keeping well. We're on YouTube, and if you are also watching us there, hello. Nice
You
to
can
see
see
you.
us.
You can see
You're looking
us.
good as well. I mean, like, I am using your webcam, but don't let that warn you. It's, put that down. Now, if you are enjoying what you heard and would like to support us, we have a Patreon, and you can get more Kawaii-Fi content there as well. So details in the comments section.
Yes, we have a whole
Episode.
half hour of pre-show where we are allowed to say the bad, naughty words and talk about all the things we are not allowed to talk about on the podcast.
Such as Final Fantasy VII sexy character outfits. Tifa wants Cloud. And not that Tifa. Our Tifa. Anyway, let's start the show with what we've been watching.
I have no idea how old I am or where I came from.
Daddy, ohio.
Hang time! I gotta go!
I have to know. Hooray, I did the thing.
Oni-chan, nani wo miru? What we're watching.
What are you watching?
Well, I was going to ask you.
No. The tables have turned, old man. I am asking you.
Okay, I guess I'm starting this. All right.
Yes.
I've been watching, as of last night, Alia sometimes hides her feelings in Russian. It's good. I've put it off. I put it off, and then me and Emma sat down and watched the first 4 episodes last night. Three and a half.
I'm a little skeptical. Your tastes in romance animes are sometimes...
Put it this way, Emma enjoys it. Emma doesn't have the same bad taste in romance as I do.
You are a bad influence.
Okay, fair. Anyway, look, it reminds me the way they've done it a little bit of Kaguya-sama Lovers War in like the setting. So it's meant to be a real prissy school and all that. It's not the same type of story. It does take the tropes and has a lot of fun with them. The childhood friend is not his childhood friend. It's actually his sister pretending to be a childhood friend. She's like, what do you mean? I am your childhood friend. I've known you your whole life. And it's like, that's not the same. It's like, I'm also your otaku buddy. And it suddenly makes sense. He's like, oh, okay. So he was up late watching anime and then had chatted to his otaku friend for 2 hours about the anime they'd been watching. He was talking to his sister. She's just as big an otaku as him.
Okay, no, I like this as a trope. Instead of it being like 3 different individuals, all of the tropey characters are the single one character, and then there's just the other love interest.
And like the episode after you discover that it's his sister, she does like the classic wake the brother up awkwardly, like sits on him and goes, I think it's in the Japanese version, she does it in English, she goes, good morning, brother. Sitting on top of him, and he's like, what are you doing?
and then in the
like,
English version, it's like the opposite, and she says it like, "Ohio," but it's like
Oni-chan.
yeah.
And he's just like,
that's
I am
weird.
not. He's like, I'm not okay with this. Get off me.
Oh, that's weird though. What is it in German dubbing?
I don't have any other German.
Das Fortunia, brother. For the motherland.
No, it should be Russian in this case.
I just wait. Was that not Russian?
No, that was actually, but you said German.
Yeah, but if it's German, then she'd be saying something else. Never. I've taken this in a strange direction. Let's get back on track.
Anyway, the story is basically that there's the beautiful Russian girl in the class, Dostovanya, mein Gott, who sits next to the main character. The main character isn't an insufferable, generic, I have dark hair, dark eyes, and I sit here all brooding. He's
Impossible.
not that. Yeah, I know. That's part of the reason why I actually am enjoying this, because he's not Kirito.
God, every protag since Kirito has been Kirito.
Yeah, it's kind of he feels like he's a teenager, which is a nice change because like he foot in mouths quite often. He understands
Weird fetish, but okay.
So Russian girl keeps saying things in Russian and flirting with him in Russian because she thinks he doesn't understand. He does understand Russian because when he was a child, he had a Russian friend who was a young girl who was a Russian friend. It's not the same girl.
Are we sure?
Are we sure
Because
about that?
Yes, we are.
that is
I'm
every
pretty
goddamn trope ever.
I'm pretty sure it's her older sister.
Okay.
So I haven't got far enough to confirm that yet. But yeah, like there's a lot in here which is really well done and on the nose. I'm quite impressed so far. And as Tifa says, the only criticism online is that people don't seem to like the way they do the borderline ecchi scenes. They think they should be worse. So your opinion's invalid. Go away. Go read the manga. You already have it. They need to have it in that PG time slot. Come on.
What a weird controversy.
Yeah, I know, right? So yeah, it's done quite well this season. It's not currently Makaine, which I've mentioned a few times, which is like too many losing heroines. That's number one, and for very good reason on all of the
Because it's
rankings.
very pretty.
It's very pretty. It's very well paced, and it doesn't feel like it's going to end up as a harem. Like there's elements there where you're like, okay, it could go into a harem, but all three of the possible love interests are dealing with the fallout of being rejected.
But
Their
he's
hearts are
definitely
somewhere else.
He's definitely ending up with the worst girl, though.
No. Well, actually, yes. Actually, now that you say that, like, yeah, okay. But anyway, that's on that note as well. Alia hides her feelings in Russia. It doesn't feel like there's any way this can have a harem ending. It feels like it's very direct. Like Alia is the love interest, and that's where it's going.
Okay.
So I'm okay with that. But yeah, that's what I've been watching.
Tifa, what you been watching?
She's been rewatching something.
I've been rewatching Toradora.
Have you finished it yet?
No.
No. Okay.
No.
I'm intrigued to know because we were discussing this. And we reviewed Toradora a couple of years ago.
Tifa, remind me.
Tabletop Tiger.
Pump-top
Little
tiger.
angry girl.
Little angry
Pump-top
girl,
tiger.
tall guy. She's cute and looks like a doll. He's kind of more aggressive looking.
He looks like he's a...
and Toradora means tiger and dragon. So,
Okay.
yeah. Romantic
You
comedy.
remember Toradora?
I believe I would.
She was
if I
like one
saw
of
it.
the iconic tsundere characters.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh yes, yes. Sorry,
So yeah.
she is tiny like Tifa. Now I remember.
Yeah.
He's trying to get shot today.
No, but it's funny because my birth year is the year of the tiger.
Oh,
Is it?
Yeah.
Ah, I'm year of the rabbit, which is probably why I'm a softie. Snake! That makes so much sense.
I'm sorry. What?
You being year of the snake.
Because I hide in cardboard boxes and disable Metal Gear. What?
I thought
Anyway,
you was just going to say you're
Toradora.
slippery.
For those who haven't already listened to our prior episode a few years ago, what's Toradora about?
So Toradora is about a small character called Tiger and a rather taller guy named Ryuji. And Tiger is like, as we said, she's like small, she's cute, petite. Everybody kind of underestimates her, but she's like the opposite of that in her personality. She's quite brash. She doesn't really know how to take care of herself as well. And she can be very, I guess, like pushy. She's very tsundere, one of the iconic tsundere characters. And then Ryuji is like, everybody says he looks really tall and scary and all that stuff. So people don't really want to talk to him as much, but he's just like a sweetheart. He's a cutie patootie that just wants to take care of everyone, especially because, you know, his mother works in the night industry as well, and so he's just always been the kind of guy that like has to take care of her, so he always wants to take care of everyone else, but he kind of looks a bit scary. So these two are like the
his
opposites.
eyes in particular.
Yeah. These two are like the opposites in appearance and in personality. And they realize that they have a crush on each other's best friends. And so they try to help each other get with these other characters. And in the process, they fall in love. So it's
It
really
was
cute.
as I recall.
I just don't rate the ending.
Oh no!
Well, and I've remembered why Tifa.
Bewares of the spoilers.
Without spoiling it, I remember why I don't like it. It's because the second season felt so rushed that they didn't have enough time to build up all of the story elements that were used in the original. So
There's
they
a
apparently
second season? Isn't
Yeah.
it just OVAs?
No, so it was technically two separate seasons. You had the first 12 episodes and the second 12 episodes.
Oh.
And those second 12 episodes, they crammed in 3 times the amount of content as the first season.
I'm pretty sure it's just all over 24 episodes and then they have OVAs. That's how it is in the DVD.
In the DVD, it was released like that, but the broadcast release, I'm pretty
Pretty
sure
sure
was
on
split over
Netflix
two.
it also is just one season.
They treated it as one season because it was considered 2 cores in the modern setting, but it was released over 2 separate seasons. Not back to back. from
Semantic
memory.
weirdness.
But yeah, basically, yeah, I remember when I could be wrong, it's been a hot minute, but when we went and did the thingy of it, the episode of it,
yeah.
I really struggled. Yeah.
Wikipedia says 1 season.
Yeah, so does, yeah, okay, well, I'm confused, but either way, like,
You're wrong, Kyle.
I might be wrong, but it feels like the first 12 episodes were really well paced, and then after that, it just kind of like rushed to the end, sort of thing. But that's, yeah. Look, I'm old and grumpy, and I saw it at 34. That's going to have a very different view for young love compared to watching it in your early 20s or your teens.
When
So,
I watched it, when it came out, I was like 9 years old.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched it like 2014 or 2015. So I was like a teen. But yeah, I don't know. I like the ending. Like, spoiler alert, the ending isn't really as romantic as some people would expect it to be, even though it's explained through the credits scene. I think that it works for the idea of young love, and that young love is not always future love. That being said, there is a PSP game and there is a light novel, and in the PSP game, they get married and they have babies. So
What do you do with the PSP game? Is it like a music one and that's it? Like, you know, join along for the
it's like
story.
you play through the story. I don't know. It's kind of like a light, like a what are they called? Those like novel games where
Visual novel?
Yeah, visual novel. It's like a visual novel.
It's an FPS.
But yeah, I don't know. I just think it's interesting and like going back and looking at it, especially because Tiger is considered such a tsundere character. I would say that nowadays, because we've like narrowed down the stereotype of what a tsundere is, she doesn't completely fit into that mold because she's actually quite an anxious character as well. She doesn't know how to talk to her crush, and that interaction as well is so different, and her interaction with her best friend is also different, and so she's quite a three-dimensional character. And even other characters like Army, who is the blue-haired girl, who people really find annoying and dislike, like she is very three-dimensional as well. You understand why she acts the way that she does, and all the characters,
They all have depth.
Yeah, and you can tell that they're not supposed to be completely likable. They're supposed to have bad qualities to them as well, because like Tiger shouldn't treat people a certain way. Yeah, like she shouldn't treat people a certain way, and she's learning that as well, and she knows that. And then also with like Ryuji, he shouldn't have to take care of people so that it's so codependent, but that's how his relationship with his mother is, so that's how he treats other people as well. And by the end of the story, they kind of realize that a lot more. So I think it'd be interesting once I catch up to that part and then have a look at how that looks now.
I think I've managed to nail down exactly what annoyed me about it, and it was the pacing. It wasn't necessarily the character interactions. It just felt like the pacing ruined the development. Like they could have had an extra 5 episodes to cover some of the stuff that happened at the school festival and stuff like that. There was a lot of stuff where good character development was done, but it wasn't given the screen time it needed. I think that's probably my key criticism.
Apparently, they thought they were going to have more episodes, which is why some of that is shown in the credits scene, because they couldn't even finish it off in the episodes. And that's why they had to do like the little light novel afterwards to like kind of continue it as well. And why you see the extra stuff in the PSP, which is stuff that they, not necessarily the marriage and the kids, but some of the other stuff was things that they wanted to include in the anime, but they didn't get the opportunity to. So I do agree with that. I think that there was definitely an issue there, and I think that issue was something they weren't expecting.
Novel.
Yeah.
And the light novel had 10 volumes. That's too many for 25 episodes. You need about 35 for that.
Definitely.
So, yeah, 35, 40. That's, yeah. There's not enough content there. Also, the anime came out before the light novel finished.
Yes. Yeah. So that's why there's like a couple of ending light novels that like further they kind of like change what showcased in the anime, because I think they discussed what they wanted the anime to end kind of, but they wanted to do like extra bits and they just didn't have time to do that either. And then they had like OVAs later, but they weren't really
I do like this
shown
new
as much.
I do like this new modern culture of anime where they're doing their very best to not catch up with the manga. Like they're doing only a few episodes, like they're doing only a season's worth of episodes and then giving it a break.
Yeah, instead of doing the long-running animes. And I'm glad that, like, I mean, I think we've discussed this many times, but long-running animes, like the concept of what Naruto was and One Piece, are kind of dead in the water for a lot of organizations.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I loved those things. Like, not just the story, the fact that, like,
every week
it was consistent. But at the same time,
it was also consistently full of filler.
I mean, look at Boruto now. Like, that's still trying to do that, and that's why there's so much filler and why people don't like it. Whereas if they followed the same thing as, like, My Hero or Jujutsu Kaisen and they waited, people probably would have liked it more, because there are a lot of good elements to the manga, but it's just so much filler.
Boruto's more like his father than he knows. It's full of filler.
All right. Well, Toradora, look, I give it a hard time, but it's not bad. It's actually pretty good.
For the time as well, I think that it was probably one of the better romantic comedies.
Yeah. Yeah. There was an actual resolution.
And someone wasn't grizzly brutally murdered and beheaded. That was school days. That was right.
Okay. No. Elusive Samurai. Tell us about that, Kenny. You're now in the spotlight.
I am now in the spotlight. Elusive Samurai is very pretty, and its ending, its credits confuses me.
That tells us nothing.
Thanks for that, Kenny.
No, that actually tells you everything.
All right.
Okay, I will elucidate. The credits are done in a completely kind of different style and genre.
What about the story?
So like
What's it
Chainsaw
about?
Man,
Oh, it's
right?
good.
Because
But we're
Chainsaw Man
talking about the
credits are
credits.
different.
I was going to say, it's like Jujutsu Kaiser's credits. Hey, everything's horrible. Someone's dead. Oh.
Everybody dance! Okay, but so yes. Story.
Oh, I remember what it was. I remember what it was that everyone's taking the mickey out of. Kaiju number 8. The outro
That's
for Kaiju number
right.
8. Every episode ends on a cliffhanger, and the outro is far too happy.
That's right. That's the very, very jolly one we were discussing earlier.
Yes. Anyways.
Yes, Elusive Samurai.
Yes.
Massive power struggle ensues in medieval Japan, and the boy who would ascend the throne is forced to run away from some pretty bloody psychopathic villains that have come to take his throne and brutally take his life. And it just turns out he's fantastic at running away and dodging and evading. And that is his whole skill.
He's the boy that ran away.
And historically so as well. Like,
Because this is based on actual historic events. Not obviously a lot of artistic liberty taken, but
Yeah.
much artistic liberty taken. This
oh, the magician.
he's a weirdo. This show just it is crazy for its animation style, for all of the strange ways it plays with color and movement and stuff. It just looks phenomenal. And this is being done for like a very historically important kind of a very standout figure in history. And I don't know, it's just something about those two things is strange to me. I don't know, I think in Western cinema, when you're doing something about, I don't know, Winston Churchill or like one of the big, huge historic figures, they're treated with such gravitas and awe. And then you see it being almost played with in this way in Japan, and you're just like, wow, it's almost free.
I mean, it's also worth mentioning this is Cloverworks as well.
Yeah, Cloverworks, they always go above and beyond.
Yeah.
But yes, the closing credits, it's set in a completely different time, genre, and everything.
It's a party.
And every time you watch it, you're just like, wow, this is great. I kind of want to watch this anime. It's like, what I'm getting is nice, I guess. It's very, very pretty. But I want to watch this one. Why is this the credits? Make an anime of this.
So you want a spin-off OVA.
Hell yeah. Make it happen.
Okay, then.
And that's all I've got to say about that. Also turned the Universal Monster movies into animes. I binged them and now I want animes.
As in the old ones and not like a continued universe, which was done by, what's it?
The Tom Cruise movie, you mean? Ooh,
that did not go well.
That was rough.
If you've been watching or reading something interesting, drop it in the comments section on YouTube or over on socials. We'd love to know what you're checking out. But let's get stuck into, the big
Girls.
topic. Girls and tanks.
Okay, tanks as well.
Yeah.
Kawaii-Fi Radio.
I think I watched that as a kid.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Back Catalogue.
Girls and Panzers. This came out in 2012. It's an original anime. And there's actually some really interesting stuff around Girls and Panzers that I didn't realize until I started digging last night.
Oh,
you did?
really?
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I completely forgot to do the
There's
digging
like
part. And mostly
spin-offs,
just,
movies, games. There's a lot.
it's pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about the people involved in just the anime production itself.
Oh, okay.
You are going to be very interested in this.
Okay, but first we ought to tell the story.
It's about girls and tanks. There you go.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, first things first. Sen Shador is a traditional sport using World War II era tanks. It's made up in an elimination-based matches. Widely practiced by women and girls alike, it's advertised as a form of art geared towards making ladies more prominent in culture and appealing to men. We'll get into that in a minute.
Yeah, it's
Becoming a worldwide phenomenon over time, the influence of Senshido leads to the creation of World Championship, which will soon be held in Japan. Our main character, Miho, who comes from a lineage of well-respected Senshido specialists, is at odds with the sport after a traumatic event led to her retirement and eventually a rift to form between her and her family. To steer clear of the practice as much as possible, she transfers to the Oarai Girls Academy, where Senshido programs have been abolished. However, with the news of the upcoming championships, all the schools revive their tankery programs and she's pushed into joining. Now, with the aid of some new friends, she must overcome her past and once again take command of a squadron of tanks in an effort to save her school from closure. Unless they get one more member. All while proving to her family that the Nishizumi style of Senshido is not solely about victory. So,
this anime is random.
yeah.
Because when you start it, it subverts your expectations in a number of ways. I normally hate that as a phrase because, thank you, Ryan Johnson. Okay, so when it
We
starts...
subverted your expectations by making it bad.
See, at the very, very start, you see that it's going to be girls driving in tanks. But then you see how it leads up to it. And it is like every, basically, high school girls starting a new club anime you have ever seen. And it really, really sticks to that.
Yeah.
It's like it focuses on every little trope, but oh yeah, there's tanks, and you're just supposed to think that's entirely normal.
Yeah. It does a really good job of it too.
And then I mean, I've got to spoil this for the last episode. You learn about the setting, kind of.
At the end of the first episode, yeah.
Yeah, it's like they've assembled the random tanks that they've found in ditches and rivers and pools and stuff. And then you find the location at all of these ditches, rivers, pools, and forests and town.
Are contained within.
It's on the back of an enormous...
Aircraft carrier,
It's
basically.
on the deck of an aircraft carrier. This town is on a massive ship. And I have been working through the episodes steadily, and there has only been at least one point where they have addressed that fact.
Yeah.
That their schools and towns are on ships. And it's not just the one ship. Every single, country, every girls' school has a ship.
Yeah, but there is still land.
Yeah, there's land.
There's
and
still normal Japan land.
they stop in various places all over the world. It's great.
Yeah.
They stop in Australia for one point.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's a koala that talks.
Okay.
Okay, no, the koala doesn't talk. The girl can talk to the koala. and the koala is their tank command. That's a whole thing. Anyway.
Yeah.
So at one point, they will address why there are cities on the backs of ships. And the girl's answer is basically the same thing that comes out of why girls are driving tanks. It's like, to nurture a positive attitude of scholastic achievement. It's just like, this reads like, your standard propaganda model.
It does.
What the hell is going on?
Propaganda won. No one actually won the war. Propaganda itself won.
Oh, that's a horrible concept. Please erase these mind images now.
I've been reading too much of the Department of Truth. Interesting comic book series. Really interesting. Anyway.
Okay, but so yes, the sport of basically tanking.
Yep.
Tankery. Yes. They start going around to fight rival schools. I believe the first one they fight is the British. And
essentially.
then the seconds, because they're obsessed with tea.
Their aircraft carrier pulls up next to their aircraft carrier, and theirs is much bigger because they're richer.
Or is it the size of Ireland? I don't know.
I don't get it.
But so, yes, so first they fight the Brits, and then they fight the Americans. And you just sort of... So are they the Japanese, but they have German tanks and occasionally say German things?
I don't know. Look,
It's not based like the same world here. There are differences. So, I mean,
Yeah, there's a lot of intermixing of strange cultures going on, but everything about this just... You want to know more, but you're just afraid of the answers because...
Would you like to know more?
They're going to be weird.
So this has been animated by Studio Actus. They were established in 1998. They haven't done a lot as a primary studio. They have done a lot of support work in between animations and stuff like that for other studios. They're the biggest three other than Girls in Panzers that they have is Shin Megami Tensei Devil Children 2.
I've heard of that one.
So that's they did the second season, not the first season. Princess Principal, which has had a lot of spin-offs and OVAs and stuff, and currently airing Wisteria Wands and Swords. That one is it's Mashal, but not funny. Like no offense to anyone who likes it, but if you're watching it, you know it's not a comedy. It takes itself quite seriously. So
Okay, fair enough.
This series aired October 2012 for 12 episodes. It then had a film. It's then had a lot of OVAs, and now it's a 6-part film series called Das Final, which started in 2017. We've still got 2 more of them to go. It has had, and I kid you not, 15 manga spin-offs. 15! It's huge. A light novel adaptation, several games.
Because that's the thing as well. Each tank crew is their own, like, group of strange girls with their own strange personalities. They paint their tanks up to be different colors.
I just like the fact that the volleyball club has joined this so that they can have their club reinstated.
Yeah, I was going to say this is like a sports anime, but it's just tanks.
It's a sports anime, but it goes in a strange, like, left field direction. You do not expect anything.
My brain is just remembering the Olympics and all of the shooting characters, and it's like, this could be that.
Basically, yes.
Yeah. Now, the people behind Girls and Panzers is actually pretty interesting.
Yeah, do tell.
I want to talk firstly about the writer, and that's Reiko Yoshida.
Hang on.
She did the screenplay for the original Digimon films, the screenplay for The Cat Returns, A Silent Voice, Lou Over the Wall, and Violent Evergarden.
That's the one.
She did the script for Genshiken, Deltora Quest, K-On!, Bakuman, Tamako Story, The Heikei Story. She wrote the story for the manga Tokyo Mew Mew.
Whoa.
Yeah, that's why I was like, wait, when you said the name, I was like,
yeah, I know that name. Yeah. This lady is epic.
God, it's just...
And so many of these are slice of life, like K-On!, like where it's cute girls doing cute things, but let's just go off in a side direction.
Okay, she has a distinct style and she likes writing a certain thing. She does it well. But it's just, what?
But they're like, The Cat Returns.
Yeah, that's...
and she's done TV as well, and like live action movies as well.
Whoa.
This lady's prolific, so well done, Reiko. The director is Mitsushima Tsutomu. He did Triple X Holic, Squid Girl, Blood Sea. These are all as director.
I saw Tifa's face light up at X-Holic.
Yeah. Another. Joshiraku, Genshiken, Prison School, The Lost Village, which is awful.
Yep,
the Magnificent Kotobuki, and recently Train to the End of the World. So these are people who have serious skills and are well respected. Yeah. They've also won several awards, both of them. So makes sense. They also had Takaki Suzuki, who had earlier acted as a military history advisor for Strike Witches and Upote, and was involved in the production of the anime directly.
Okay.
So
I mean, that checks out.
They've got a lot of people who know their stuff involved.
They go into detail on what each of the tanks can do. It's like this and World of Tanks is really...
Why is this not had a crossover with World of Tanks?
It has.
Oh, it has?
It has.
I was going to say, in the 12 years it's been out, how has this not happened? Oh, well.
I believe there's skins and stuff that you can get.
I'm surprised it hasn't had a crossover with War Thunder, and that resulted in more of the tank stats getting leaked.
Oh, God.
The War Thunder forums have leaked so much classified
World of
weaponry
Tanks have also done that as well.
It's like people arguing about who is right about a certain tank, and then they literally release classified documents.
Some like jobber on a military site will release the classified specs for certain planes and tanks and automobiles, and you're just like, what? This has happened? Like... You know, if this had happened once, it would be a bit of a whoopsie for the military. If this had happened twice or 3 times, that's kind of a scandal.
It happens multiple times a year.
It's happened like 30, 40 times now. Classified military documents leaked on a funny little computer game.
A free-to-play computer game.
A free-to-play funny little computer game. Constantly leaking official state secrets.
10 out of 10. Well done, World of Tanks and War Thunder, folks.
I've played a bit of World of Tanks. The They're crazy.
Yeah.
The community are nuts, and I adore them.
I played War Thunder years ago. It was pretty interesting. But anyway, back to the topic. So this has probably been the studio's most successful anime.
And it's still strangely sort of under the radar.
Oh, it's not. It might
It's
be international.
huge. In
Like,
Japan,
yeah,
it's huge. It was like
it
the
is-
third biggest sales for Blu-ray or something that
Yeah.
year or
It's
something
huge
like
in
that.
Japan, but like you mention it in the West, and people are like, "Oh yeah, I've heard of that."
Yeah, well, look, there's the thing. A lot of people have heard of it, and then people go watch it, and like us, they go, "Wow, this is actually really good." Like, I thought it was just going to be really goofy, but no.
I mean, it's got its share of goofiness.
Oh, yeah.
and
I mean,
love
I
it.
think that the first episode starts you off so well for the series because it's like, oh, you start off with the tanks, and then she wakes up and you're like, oh, she has trauma, and then she's in a school, and then they're like, oh yeah, you should be part of the
Yes.
tank program, and then she's just like, but I just moved here to get away from the tanks, and you're like, what is going on? And then
It hits all the
it's just-
right kind of story beats.
Yeah.
I just love the way
Tease up everything as it should be.
I love the
Yeah,
way
exactly.
you just said that, Tifa. I moved here to get away from the tanks.
Because it's just
Oh God, the world is at war.
But that's kind of how they play it off, though, until you realize, and you're like, oh, okay.
they're treating
and
it as
that-
completely normal.
Uh,
Like they don't have someone who's like, oh, wow, I'm so new to all of this. This is just part of the world, as much as like basketball is a part of any other like basketball anime.
yeah.
I love that
It's like
there's
you
like a...
almost don't need. Actually,
Yeah.
no. Yes, that's entirely it. It's like okay, when you talk about a sports anime, slam dunk.
Yeah.
Nobody needs an introduction to what basketball is. The anime will still tell you what the rules are because it's pertinent to the story. But as far as you are aware, basketball is a sport that is played in schools, played professionally. It is normal in the world. And so it is written that way.
Yep.
Girls on Panzers does exactly the same thing, but it treats tankery like something that is completely normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't
It
know if
treats
that's
it like a niche sport, like archery or something like
Yeah.
that.
not even
yeah.
a niche sport, like a common standard average sport.
I mean, yeah, actually, because when they drive the tank through the town that one morning, everyone was like, "Oh, you're off to do tankery." And it's like,
Yes.
Yeah.
you all know
also
why
just-
there's a girl with a tank.
I love
And I
that
think
there's also
that's-
like a comment from a background character being like, who's ever seen a guy ride a tank? Like, it was just
Yeah.
a random, offhanded comment, and you're like, oh, okay, that's the world we're in.
Yeah, that's right. Because wasn't one of the girls like, "Oh, I hope the instructor is a guy because
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
flirt with him," and it's like the instructor's a woman, and it's like, "Oh, I hoped it was going to be a guy." It's like, when has there ever been a male
Yeah,
tank
yeah.
driver? It's like,
And yes, it just. That's the thing, is like. It's not explaining it because it just assumes you fully understand.
It's
It
part
has
of the
developed
joke.
its
It makes
world
it
building and
good.
culture so well.
you have to go along with it, otherwise you will cry.
Oh, and I don't think you got up to this, Tifa. Did you get up to the part where they go to the tank-themed cafes?
Oh, yeah.
And it is just entirely bloody normal in their
It's
strange
just-
little world.
yeah.
As in, like they're like a maid cafe, but for tanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
People dress up as tanks and walk
It's
around.
just
No,
like
no,
a
no.
themed,
But
there are
it's a
just
themed
tanks.
They
cafe,
dress up in
like when you
military
get an
fatigues.
anime, yeah.
Okay,
Like an
good.
anime
And you press
cafe and
the
stuff.
you press the little bell on your table to attract them tanker to come to your table to take your order, and it makes tank sounds. It makes the sound of a gun.
Oh, I was gonna say, does it like fire a cannon off? Like,
It makes the sound of a cannon.
look, I know a few businesses that could use those to get attention of their staff.
It could work.
It could work.
Can we start having tank-themed cafes?
I just want tank-themed bells, and I'm going to go swap them out at locations. It's like, you haven't, like, people have been waiting here for a while, and you've been off chatting back in the kitchen for the last hour.
So they look like your standard kind of like polished metal bell, except they've got a thing in there which just goes boom.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, did I? Oops.
Oh, I can fix it.
All right.
We'll fix it in post.
Put on a shirt.
Now, there's a few interesting things I found out while digging on this. So, firstly, plastic models of the tanks based on those within the anime have top sales charts in Japan for the entire time the anime has been running.
Yep.
That's amazing.
You can still get them, right? So I saw them at one of the like Bandai hobby stores, one of the big Gundam ones, and they have them all in there, and you can get like ones of the characters as well with the tank. So depending on which ones you get, and you can build some of them. And yeah.
I'll have a look when we're over.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Unless Tifa gets there again before me.
Yeah, I'm going next month.
People. Look,
they're doing a Final Fantasy 16 cafe.
Yeah, dead serious. The tickets to Japan are real cheap at the moment.
Yeah,
we got tickets for February for 800 return Australian, which is, for those in the US, that's about 500.
Yeah, that's how much I got mine for as well. And I got direct flights as well, luckily. So.
With ANA. We're going through Singapore Air, but...
Singapore's good. Singapore's
great. Don't go Malaysian Airlines. No offense to them, but they're just not what they used to be. And they cost more. Like, this time, I think the entire trip for me and Emma is flights, accommodation for 2 weeks, $2,000 each.
Not bad at all.
Practically nothing.
Exactly. Well, I mean, it's not. It's not practically nothing if you're living paycheck to paycheck. But
for traveling to another
country for 2 weeks, it's huge.
That's really not bad at all.
The hotels we're staying in aren't like they're cheap, but they're not cheap. They're not like hostels or anything like that. So it's crazy.
It ain't like our London trip.
Oh my god, the Generator in London. If anyone's been to the Generator hostel in London,
you know.
It used to be an old power station, and they converted it into a hostel. It was cool. It was awful.
I'm still bummed that it's like we were just one road over from the Black Book's place.
I know, and we didn't go. Anyway, let's go back to tanks. Scholar Takayoshi Yamamura, I don't know why he's quoted, but he appears in quite a few quotes, and I think he does history scholars, like articles, and might be like a general person who's brought onto TV shows as like an expert in Japan.
Okay.
He described the series as a key example of cooperation between the JSDF and anime production, noting that production staff gathered important information with the help of the JSDF's ground defense team, and they even had an opportunity to ride in tanks with the JGSDF Ordnance School. So they had events there, which is so cool.
That is awesome.
Now, due to the anime's popularity, the town of Oarai of the Ibaraki Prefecture. Now, this is northeast of Tokyo. It's the other side of Saitama Prefecture. So if you go north and to the coast, south of Fukushima area, they've incorporated activities inspired by the series. That includes live tank demonstrations into its annual spring festival.
Hey, wait.
They had one this year.
Not on a boat.
No, it's the port.
Immersion broken.
The town experienced an economic upturn from selling themed merchandise. For example, between 2015 and 2016, the revenue from the town increased 21-fold. Keep in mind that they had the earthquake in 2011.
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay.
So they needed it. There's no, like, you have a look at the finances from tourism. The Girls and Panzers saved the city.
What is this anime?
Right? So the Spring Festival that they held in 2013 featured live tank demonstrations, the sale of anime-themed merchandise, and they have an annual angler fish festival, which I think they hold in November. Aside from obviously the fishing events, they then put tank replicas and Itasha cars on display. Itasha cars are like the cars themed after anime characters. And they even attracted a talk show event with the cast members. The 2024 Kairaku Festival, which is a new one that they held in March, featured a talk show by the anime voice actors, an anime quiz competition, and a game to find tanks hidden in the city, just like they did in the first episode.
Oh, that is so cool. That's amazing.
Yeah, they've the official media, such as the 2015 film, were announced at festivals in the town. So it's basically become the home of the town. It has become a tourist attraction, and it has literally saved the prefecture and its smaller towns in the area.
That is fantastic.
It's amazing to see. They won so many tourism awards over about a 6-year period.
And I mean, that's like great inspiration for like animes. Is just, if you want to save a town, base a crazy anime in it.
I mean, have a look at Oda and One Piece. Like, his hometown has a statue of Luffy, and that's basically increased the tourism so much in that area because they were kind of struggling, but that one statue helped a lot.
I mean, consider One Piece fans, that place has got to be like a religious pilgrimage site.
Yeah. Well, it's the same sort of thing if you wanted to go to Tezuka's hometown because it's northeast of Osaka.
That one's got the big Astro Boy statue.
Yeah, and it also has a museum one town over as well with all of his work in it. So, like, it helped keep those afloat, basically. It's crazy, but... yeah. More of this. More anime pilgrimages.
It's kind of nice because you like know that people are celebrating art and people are celebrating like this type of media because they're going out of their way to go see this stuff, whether it's people in Japan or people outside of Japan as well. So
it's practically a fact of life. Passion begets passion.
I mean, obviously, like, we're all massive anime nerds here and we're all going to go do stuff, but like, you think about like Tokiwaso in Tokyo, which I went to, which is like where all of the mangaka used to live. The building was demolished in the 90s. They rebuilt it and created a museum out of it, a direct replica down the road on a plot of land, and it's successful. And it brings people out to that area of the city, which is not very well visited by tourists typically. It works, and they need to keep doing it. Yeah.
Keep making anime.
Keep making anime and then making attractions.
Make some anime.
But anyway, Girls and Panzers, we've got 4 of the last final films out now. There are still 2 more to go, so we're probably a few years off before the series ends.
It's just crazy how this is just an institution that has survived for so long.
Yeah.
And it is a funny little series about cute little girls driving military tanks.
Yeah. Something I have been alerted to with the OVAs, the OVAs and specials are actually set during the anime's timeline. But if you watch them in chronological order, you have the ending spoiled.
Oh.
Because there's stuff in the credits of each of them which relates to the films which they're connected with.
Oh.
So make sure you watch the series as the normal 12 episodes and then watch the OVAs with the accompanying films, because otherwise, like, there's people who are like, watch it in this order, it's chronological. And it's like, yeah, but then it ruins the series. So if it's your first watch it in the airing order. After that, you can watch it. Like, if you're rewatching it, watch it in the chronological order.
This is like the second time we've had to talk about which order you watch anime in.
It's not the second. It happens at least 2-3 times a year.
But in recent memory, we were just talking about Haruhi.
Yeah, I know.
It's just, I don't know if I hate or love that this is a thing. If that people must argue so vehemently about in what order you're supposed to watch the funny little TV show about girls driving tanks.
People argue about what order to watch the JJK movie with the JJK series as well.
Yeah.
Because it's set before Itadori, but people usually watch it like you're supposed
Before
to kind of watch
season 1.
it after season 1,
Yeah.
so then you have more context for season 2, but you also know these other characters, so you have more fun when you watch the movie.
Yeah, watch it in the order it was released for JJK. Like, trust me, it's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I kind of figure the prequel is sort of like an Elseworlds thing. It's a side story after you've enjoyed the first bit.
'Cause, like, you can enjoy it without the context of the series.
But you won't.
It's just better if you watch it after the
It's
first
better
season.
with
If you
the
don't, it's
context.
fine, but it's just,
It's better with the context. You'll enjoy it more.
Exactly.
Anyway, Girls and Panzers, all of it is on Crunchyroll. And
it's
on
not.
Crunchyroll, it does have... Pardon?
It's not. Not
It's
in
not?
Australia.
What?
Oh, not in Australia. True,
yeah,
actually.
You have to watch it on Billy here.
Yeah, because... Yeah, that's because it was stuck with the Anime Lab.
Yeah, it
So,
still hasn't transferred over.
For context, or for those who haven't heard us talking about this before, in Australia we had a separate anime streaming service called Anime Lab. It was then bought out by Funimation. Funimation were then meant to transfer all of the rights over to Funimation, and then Funimation joined Crunchyroll, or bought Crunchyroll and transferred there. The rights are stuck in a rights hell. And we don't know when it's going to be fixed. So there are shows which we should be able to watch on Crunchyroll here because they own the rights, which we can't.
Look, I understand, knowing who has the rights and who's getting what royalties where. I understand that's very, very important. But when you delay things like this, bog it down in this ridiculous bureaucracy, this is the sort of thing that inspires people to piracy and stuff like that.
As Gabe Newman said, piracy isn't always a lack of funds. In usual situations, it's a lack of accessibility.
I mean, we've
Just
said
why
it before,
Australia's
like
a big pirate.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because we get forgotten all the time.
And yeah, that was like our whole point of pride was that of Game of Thrones, the last seasons and the last episodes, Australia pirated it the most.
Because no one wanted to pay for Foxtel because you then had to have appointment viewing, which made no sense in this day and age.
Yeah. Even in the beginning, like, we were the number one pirators of Game of Thrones because we just couldn't access it.
Yeah.
And yeah, see, that was the thing. When Netflix first sort of like rose to prominence, and it was a very, very reasonably priced, very, very accessible service, and it had no competitors, and it was giving you everything you wanted. So you're like, I don't mind paying for this.
Yeah.
Give me the things I want. Thank you. We have done a business. Good.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turned into every other single service vying for the rights, and you have to have like 8 different subscriptions to watch the things you want. So it's just like...
It's just turned into cable again.
It's just...
I mean, don't get me wrong. Monopolies are bad, but I would much rather have one service that I pay for, which can access everything.
Maybe even 2. If there's like a very vastly different like thing that they're giving me, like I don't care if it's like Disney just has all the Disney stuff, fine, whatever, and then Netflix has everything else. 2 is okay, but when you've got like 10 of them, yeah. And you just have too many. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, like in the anime space, I feel like it's fair for there to be Crunchyroll and High Dive because they both offer very different product types. High Dive is definitely more adult orientated, whereas Crunchyroll is kind of like the vast majority, like the shonen, the shoujo,
But when it's like, you know, one streaming service has this one series that you want to see and you've got nothing else from it, I think what you need is like a system where you can just rent, that's video shops.
Tech Bros just reinvented video shops.
Let's bring back Blockbuster and Civic Video.
I mean, look, you can rent shows on Apple TV and Google.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's not worth it
YouTube.
because they cost so much. And YouTube, because they cost so much. Like, it's like the old video rental cost. So it's like $4 for a movie. And you're like,
I think,
well, I mean, admittedly
Prime's
now it's
the
not
cheapest.
Like... Prime is the cheapest. I get Prime free. Well, actually, no, they've just upped the price. But I get Prime. We already pay for Prime, and my whole family uses it for deliveries and stuff. But I
mean, you can rent movies on there. It's usually $1 or $2.
Yeah,
like,
the movies
digitally.
on Prime are cheap.
I mean, I don't mind spending a bit more money for something if I really want it. But so yeah, it's just ditch the subscription model. It's no longer working. It is no longer viable.
I think the subscription models work for certain things, but it shouldn't work for software. I want the option for paying for a perpetual license with like if I can pay for Creative Cloud Suite with 2 years of support for a set price,
the
and
whole
then,
Adobe thing.
Yeah, and then no additional fees after that, I'd do it because that works for me. I don't need the latest and greatest features. I just need it to work. So, and I've paid them enough over time.
It's just, you know, speaking of people that you'd like to run over with a tank, Adobe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then, like, I could go and get all the other free ones, but I don't want to have to spend all that time relearning it. I'm time poor as it is. So, yeah. Anyway, we've gone well off the tanks. Crunchyroll outside of Australia, Billy everywhere else.
Yeah.
Billy Believe. Yeah.
It's the new catchphrase.
Kawaii-Fi.
Tonight on Anime Communique.
Great story, compelling and rich.
Nothing brings ratings up like a little controversy.
Is that good enough controversy for you?
That'll do.
That'll do, Kyle. That'll do. Here's some tribal. Okay.
I sent him a video of someone like shoving a Monster Energy can onto the front of an armor-piercing tank round. And fair enough, it's like when Kyle wants to punch drywall that's 2 kilometers away.
So, controversy is as always, the first thing we're talking about. I don't think this is controversial. I actually think this makes a lot of sense, but it is controversial what they're trying to fix. And Tifa's full ball on this, so I'll let Tifa be the lead on this. But basically, major anime leakers are going to be sued by US court order. They're going to have their identities legally required to be exposed from Twitter because of them sharing content that is not legal. So, Tifa, your full bottle on this. Fill us in.
Yeah, so mainly Jujutsu Kaisen and Demon Slayer, as well as like other mangas, but those were the ones that were listed for the court case, mainly, have been leaked a lot on Twitter. And Twitter has a thing as well where you can pay for premium and you can make money off of this no matter how many views or how many like comments, how much people interact, you make money. So a lot of these leakers are making money off of somebody else's content and somebody else's work, which is very different from piracy, which we were talking about before, where it's like more free accessibility of things and you're not really paying for it because that defeats the purpose as well. But anyway,
it's accessing things that actually already exist in the market and people are buying. But what are these leaks like? Are they like scans of the official work or?
So usually there's like two different things that are kind of going on here is like one, people within the company that are taking photos before it goes to print, sending it to somebody else, and then that person leaks it to try not to give it back to like the person so they don't get in trouble. And then secondly, people going, people like taking photos of like Shonen Jump magazine with the pages which haven't been
that reminds me so much of like your old pirated movies which are like a handy cam in a cinema. That's
they still do that.
So low effort behavior.
Yeah, it really is. But the thing is that because of how Twitter works and how you can boost posts, it goes everywhere. Like sometimes people will like fix it up in Photoshop a little bit before like putting it up and stuff, but you get like whole stories ruined because you know these posts are everywhere. You can advertise it and they can make money off of it without any consequences.
I mean, we're in like the last 3 chapters of Jujutsu Kaisen and people have been leaking critical pages of that before it goes out. Like we're talking like 4 or 5 days. Then because of this, because of the way Twitter's algorithm works, it is getting shared everywhere and everyone's getting spoiled.
That's wretched. That is just...
And they're making money from doing it.
You know what? I'm normally a bit anti-authoritarian, but sue them. Yeah. Sue them to death.
So
this is losing money for the artists that are actually working on this.
Yeah, as well. So the Japanese anti-piracy organization CODA, which is the Content Overseas Distribution Association, revealed this week that for the first time in history, a US court has served an order to anime leaker accounts on X, formerly Twitter, instructing them to reveal the identities of the account holders. This follows a complaint by Demon Slayer producer Aniplex and Jujutsu producer Toho after episodes of both series, full or in part, appeared on X before their official air dates, and also to do with their mangas.
Man, shows how much sway they've actually got. This is like,
well, when you keep in
serious business.
Keep in mind, Aniplex is owned by Sony, and Toho is owned by Toho's Toho. Toho's huge, so like they're probably the biggest independent company in Japan, as far as release goes. So. Yeah, the leakers have been forced to reveal their identity by US court, and there's also going to be a crackdown on piracy after Netflix and Crunchyroll animes leaked, which we discussed previously, where I think it was almost all of Ranma Half's new first season has been leaked online. Yeah. And it's like, that's not okay.
That's poor form.
Yeah.
You don't leak, you just... Yeah. It's wretched.
I think the worst part of it is that these are readily available to view on Twitter. So it's not even like a link to go somewhere else. It's just the full thing is on Twitter. Whereas before that wouldn't be allowed. They would just like take it down, copyright reasons, right? It would just automatically be taken down. But that doesn't happen anymore. So on Twitter, because, Musk and all that, and it's becoming a huge problem. So it's just everywhere you can see all this stuff, and people are making money off of it as well because of that new model for Twitter. So
Disgusting.
This has also come off the back of a certain website which deals in six-figure numbers also being sued for copyright infringement.
Ooh.
That was 4 days ago, apparently.
If you know the six-figure thing, you know, and you don't need to say why you know.
Yeah. But yeah, apparently it's the legal troubles have worsened following a lawsuit for copyright infringement by PCR Distributing. They've been involved in distribution of content since 1998. According to its recent filing, it owns, creates, acquires, translates, and distributes premium content from Asia to the US market. It specializes in localizing and publishing Japanese visual novels and so on for the English market. So yeah, like there's a lot going on right now. It's going to be interesting. Apparently there might be a precedent for DMCAing the identities of the owner.
Crazy.
So yeah, there's a lot going on in this space at the moment. It's going to be controversial. It's going to upset a few people and ruffle a few feathers. We'll see how this all pans out.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's something we can't talk about on the podcast, especially for that one, we might do a special discussing the latest as a Patreon exclusive news sort of thing.
Gotcha.
Once more details come to light, it's kind of just like something's happening. We'll let you know. So anyway, let's move on to less controversial news. So new animes and new mangas are being promoted, the ideas for it. So first up, Twin Engine and Straight Edge have announced a anime to the world novel prize titled the Ani Seka Novel Award.
It's a competition.
It's a literary award with 16 animated studios participating as judges. It's a literary contest with the winner guaranteed an anime adaptation of their story.
Oh.
Yeah. And lastly, the winner will also receive up to 1 million yen in prize money. That is about 10,000 Australian.
That's still nothing to
7,000 US.
The idea of getting a $10,000 payout for your art
It's
and
like
having it turned into an anime.
It's like a bonus for the anime, basically. It's like you're getting an advance bonus for your work.
Yeah, so
imagine.
The winner of the contest will be guaranteed a novel and an anime adaptation of their work. And Twin Engine and Straight Edge, will also consider making the winner's work into a manga and video game. Depending on how big it is, the option is there as part of the contract.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah. So
everyone's looking for the new big thing.
Yeah. So the studios...
And I mean, yeah, it's like breaking into industry is really hard. You got to have something special to like really make it as big as something like, Bleach or Naruto or something like that.
A lot of things ending as well. They kind of have to find something new. I know that Shonen used to do competitions to have them in the manga, like just like one chapter or two chapters in the manga. That used to help a lot. So
they actually have that as well. We'll come to that in a second. But just to quickly wrap this one up, those 16 animation studios that are participating as judges of the award include Zexus, Wit Studios, Studio Colorido, Team Yamahitsuji, Studio Nut, Geno Studios, Studio Kafka, Peaky's, Studio Daisy, Bug Films, and the following ones aren't as big, but Scooter Films, Outline, Team 11, Nagomi, Crucell, and Aota. So
still big enough names to make a difference.
But noticing what I think is quite interesting is none of these studios are connected directly with sort of the major publishing houses. So this is kind of a little bit more independent. So they're not connected to Kodansha, they're not connected to Shonen Jump, and so on. So
interesting.
This is kind of cool to see it.
I mean, that also explains the general size of the prize money. But there could be like a precedent for getting a lot of new talent out of this.
If this goes well, there could be one every year, basically, which would be amazing.
Imagine.
So now, off the back of that, this happened before it, though. Shonen Jump has launched the Next Generation Battle Manga Award. This is a one-time award that seeks the next era of battle manga for Shonen Jump. And as Tifa was saying, that's because a lot of them have wound up or are close to ending. The competition will accept entries from both both professionals and amateurs from October 1st to January 2025. 4 Shonen Jump authors, so Tite Kubo from Bleach, Kohei Hirokoshi from My Hero Academia, Yuki Tabata from Black Clover, and Gege Akutami from Jujutsu Kaisen will judge the contest. Horikoshi provided the illustration for the event, which has got all 4 of the protagonists drawn in basically a pretty cool sort of hybrid of all their styles. It's pretty cool looking.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So the top 3 winners will get their works published in the digital version of Weekly Shonen Jump, and the top 2 winners can earn a spot in the special Giga magazine issue. So they're also going to get their work physically published, potentially. The first place winner can in Shonen Jump. And in addition, there are cash prizes of 1 million yen, 500,000 yen, and 300,000 yen for first, second, and third place, respectively. So published books of winners' works will receive recommendations by one of the 4 judges. Honorable mention winners will also receive support from a judge.
That's a really big one.
Yeah.
To get support from one of the judges to actually critique your work would be really big.
It's huge for a creator.
Yeah. And I mean, when you think about it, most of these have their work coming towards an end as well. So like Jujutsu Kaisen, Bleach, My Hero Academia, all are technically, Jujutsu Kaisen will be finished by the time this comes about. So they will have the time to do so.
And I am certain each one of them have something else in the works.
Yeah,
They definitely have something else in the barrel.
Mm-hmm.
But having a backup like that, just finding the newest big thing just in the crowd, there's something so cool about that.
Yeah, it's a great
Why
idea.
isn't this just done everywhere, just in every industry?
That requires people to want change and new things. They just want reboots and to play on nostalgia at the moment is apparently the big thing.
I feel like it would be such a good thing for TV shows or film like industry, like a production house to be like, do you have an idea? Here's a competition we do like once a year. Like they do film festivals, you submit stuff.
Exactly.
But have them submit like a script or something and then they can judge it based off of the script. Does it have merit? Does it not have merit?
Smaller
in comparison,
industry do. I'm pretty sure there are several screen festivals in Australia that do this, but obviously they don't have the financial backing of like Hollywood. Hollywood do not want to share their money with anyone, so that's why they don't do it.
And
you can cold call them, but it's not the same as like a competition that's widely like spread.
Yeah, and if you cold call them, they might steal your idea.
Yeah.
And if it isn't a stolen idea, then it just ends up in the stacks.
Yeah.
And if you've seen just piles of like screenwriting bits that people have just poured into Hollywood saying, please make my thing, there's just archives and archives and archives of unused, potentially great stuff. Probably also hideous.
But let's just make another monkey film.
Yeah.
Or another Jurassic Park. I can't believe there's another Jurassic Park
How
coming.
and why?
I'm only going to watch it because Jonathan Bailey is in it. I haven't watched any of the new ones, but Jonathan Bailey is in it, and he looks like an adorable little Milo from Atlantis? Atlantis?
Who else is in it? The Rock?
I don't know. But
no.
I
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, really?
yeah.
I was going to say, in all honesty, the last 3 were good fun rides. They're not like going to... No, they were.
Chris Pratt isn't in it, so it'll be fine.
The third one was so dumb.
Yeah, I know, but like that was the point. It was dumb. It was a dumb idea. They went, let's get back all the original cast from the original film and make it really dumb.
And make them fight locusts.
Yeah.
Locusts aren't dinosaurs, Kyle.
You don't know how long the locusts have been around.
Locusts aren't dinosaurs. It's like I'm going to a Godzilla film. What's he going to fight? Bees.
Bees!
Not like...
I would watch Godzilla fight bees.
I would watch him fight bees.
Giant mutant bees? Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I'm just saying he's just fighting some bees.
Yeah. Look, the locust thing is just kind of a bit at the start. It's just that the world has gotten weird because dinosaurs are there.
No, that was the whole villain's plot. He genetically engineered locusts to eat all the other crops so that his would sell well.
No.
Yeah, that was his whole plot.
That is one of the plots. They also then have the T-Rex and the other one fight the super predator.
Yeah.
That's the plot. That's what I'm there for. The dinosaurs fighting. You don't go to the Jurassic Park films looking for a good story. You go there looking for a dumb time.
I feel like they've changed since the originals.
It's just like when we went and saw Transformers Beast Wars. We weren't going there because we were expecting groundbreaking plot. We wanted to see Monkey Man fight Robot.
Fair divs, but I'd say that, Jurassic Park started with something amazing and then turned into Transformers. Transformers started as Transformers and then turned into Transformers.
It transformed and rolled out.
It didn't transform at all.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. So, Dragon Ball Daima, the upcoming new Dragon Ball series, is premiering on October 11. This is going to be interesting. So, it's going to air on a Friday night block.
Interesting.
11:40 p.m. starting October 11. The first episode will run an extra 10 minutes longer than normal. Comparatively, Dragon Ball Super aired on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. So hour-long programming block with One Piece. So interesting that the Sunday morning time slot was not a nationwide time slot, but this new time slot will be on all of Fuji TV's affiliated networks. So that's apparently why they're doing it this way.
This one's going to be a bit divisive, I reckon.
Yeah.
Because of the story and subject matter of it. You guys have seen it, right?
Well, look, I mean, in the series, Goku, Vegeta, Bulma, and other characters throughout the series become younger than usual. Well, they get de-aged. I don't know why they say younger than usual. However, this is different from a similar plotline in Dragon Ball GT, in which Goku reverts back into a kid after the end of the original series.
We don't talk about GT. No.
Yeah. Although the title Daima does not mean anything, the kanji could be read as the word evil in English.
Okay.
So, it's, Dragon Ball evil. So maybe there's like a big new evil who has taken the Dragon Balls and, done something.
That was kind of one of the plots of GT, though, is the evil Dragon Balls.
Yeah, as long as they don't repeat the Dark Dragon Ball arc, that will be fine. We've already had like the Super Planet Dragon Balls.
Young Goku, evil Dragon Balls, I'd say... Yeah, we're going to watch some recycled GT.
I hope not. I really hope not. Either way, look, first episode's October 11, start of the new season. Should be interesting. Might be awful. We'll know more when we get close to it. There are a few trailers floating around if you want to have a look now.
Beware.
On the note of being aware, Attack on Titan. You thought it was over. It is not. There is a final combination film.
Oh my gosh.
It's coming out on November 8th.
Final movie part 1.
You had I love this, Attack on Titan final season, the final chapters, which will then be adapted into Attack on Titan, the movie, The Last Attack.
Part 1. It's never going to end, is it?
The film will be 145 minutes long with 5.1 channel surround sound and a brushed up edition of the last two parts. No,
I'm going to be cold and dead and in the ground before Attack on Titan finishes.
Don't give them your money. Don't go watch it. They've had enough.
Read the manga, I guess.
The final season lasted longer, both episode-wise and runtime-wise, than the original 3 seasons combined.
Pretty sure it lasted longer than the American Civil War.
Yeah, you're not
just
wrong.
The last episode.
Okay. Good news, Crunchyroll is streaming the Spy X Family Code White film starting September 5th, meaning it is out now.
Yay.
So that
was awesome.
A fantastic film. It might be non-canonical, but it is great fun anyway.
I want it to be canonical.
It was written by the guy, so... Actually, is it a guy who writes Spy X Family?
Yeah, it is, yeah.
Okay.
Anya met the poop god.
The poop god was amazing. 10 out of 10. Can recommend Poop God. Moving on. Naoko Yamada's and Science Saru's The Colors Within, this is their upcoming film, has revealed IMAX screenings, and that's started on August 30 in IMAX cinemas in Japan.
Ooh. I do remember seeing the trailer for that one. That on IMAX would be something pretty special.
Yeah, they've got quite a lot of good staff involved in this as well. So Naoko Yamada, who was involved in K-On!, Heike Story, and Silent Voice as well. Seems a lot of people from those three have cycled through around the same stuff. That's going to be on... I find this wild. Japan has IMAX screenings in 51 theatres in Japan. We have one IMAX in Australia.
Yeah, we do in Melbourne.
One!
There's There's only 2 in the Southern Hemisphere.
What the heck? Japan just ship one over.
Well, no. We used to have one at Carousel.
Yeah.
And then they went, we're not paying the fee for it. That's what it's come down to. So, yeah, look, this is going to be a very pretty story. It centers on Totsuko, a high school girl who can see the... who can see the colors of the emotions in people's hearts. She attends a mission school in Nagasaki, and in order to keep her friends and family from feeling dark feelings, she worries, reads situations, and even lies to smooth things over. At an antique bookshop in the corner of town, she meets a beautiful woman with an incredibly beautiful color and a music-loving boy trying to pull together a band. The story follows these 3 sensitive people who gather together to play in a band. So
I see why the K-On team is there.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was music related, but it'll be fine.
Ooh, something like that in IMAX with sound.
5.1 Dolby. Or do we want to go like 11.1 and like...
Yes, destroy my ears.
4D, the sheet shakes. G-Kids is screening the Look Back anime film in North American theaters on October 4th. This is the beautiful anime from the Chainsaw Man creator. And, well... I'm so sorry, folks. Apparently the coffee's already worn off. Yeah, it was based on a one-shot manga, and it's done really well in Japan. It looks absolutely stunning. 4th of October in North America. Hopefully that means early October we get it as well. And if we do get it in cinemas here, you can bet your bottom dollar we will be doing a review of it, because this is spectacular.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. G-Kids is also screening The Colors Within in North America in theaters in winter. North American winter, so end of the year sort of thing, beginning of New Year. And the Ghost Cat Anzu film, which is a 2D animation from Miu Productions. So this
Not sure I know that one.
It's France. So it's Shinai Animation and France's Miu Productions. Yeah, it's...
Have you seen this one, Tifa?
I think I've seen like I think it was at the Melbourne International Film Festival.
Yeah, I think it did have a few trailers and showings around.
It looks cute.
Yeah, it looks really good. Then let's move on to yet another film. It's all film this week. Lord of the Rings, The War of the Rohirrim film. This has revealed a new trailer and an international opening date. It's going to hit US theaters on December 13 and internationally December 11th. So we might get it before the US again. Which is weird.
I could see it happening because we get ours on Thursdays and then our previews are Wednesdays. So.
I'm skeptical, but I'm keeping an open mind for this one. It's the same people who actually made the Lord of the Rings movies, so...
Yeah, it's Warner Bros. Who did back distribution for New Line Cinema, but it's Warner Bros. Animation Group. And look, let's be honest. Warner Bros. Animation is better than Warner Bros. Live Action.
Yeah.
Yeah. And New Line Cinema, who did it, and Solar Entertainment, who are also involved in distribution. This is going to be a new feature film by Kenji Kamiyama. It's set 183 years before the events chronicled in the original Lord of the Rings films. It tells the fate of the House of Helm Hammerhand, the legendary king of Rohan. A sudden attack by a wolf, a clever and ruthless Dunlending... Dunlending, yeah. Lord Dunling, whatever, seeking vengeance for the death of his father, forces Helm and his people to make a daring last stand at
do you mean Dunedain?
Dunlending is what's written there.
Dunland.
It's probably just like a translation.
The Dunlandlings.
Yeah. Make a daring last stand in the ancient stronghold of Hornburg, a mighty fortress that will later become known as Helm's Deep. That makes sense because it's named after Helm, yeah. Finding herself in an increasingly desperate situation, Hera, the daughter of Helm, must summon the will to lead the resistance against a deadly enemy intent on their total destruction. So very much mirroring the daughter in the final films.
Indeed. The lore purists are already very much not happy. This I already know.
Brian Cox plays Helm Hammerhand.
Really?
Brian Cox.
Brian?
From Succession?
I think so.
Okay.
There looks like there's some pretty good cast in this, actually.
Oh yeah, who have we got?
Brian Cox will play Helm Hammerhand, the King of Rohan and protagonist. Gaia Wise will play Helm's daughter Hera. Luke Pasquilano will play Wolf.
Oh my god.
Who's
Oh my
that?
god.
Who's that?
He plays he's in Skins UK. He plays Freddy, and I just never see him in anything big anymore because he's just like this little UK actor. He's in like the Musketeers TV show and like just random things ever since then, but this would probably be one of his biggest roles since his like breakout role. Like he's in the Snowpiercer and stuff like that as well.
Okay.
But he's just not really in big stuff, but he's a brilliant actor, so I'm very excited.
Kenji Kamiyama was the original director for Ghost in the Shell standalone complex, the original series, Blade Runner, Black Lotus, and Eden of the East. Miranda Otto is reprising her role as Eowyn.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah, and she's the narrator.
Ooh.
So that's kind of cool.
Okay.
The other people listed on the cast, not as big names, but some of them are emerging. So Lorraine Ashbourne, Yazda Kwafori, Benjamin Wainwright, Lawrence Ubong-Williams, Sean Dooley, Michael Wildman, Jude Akawadike, Bilal Hasna, and Janine Dovitsky. So looks like a pretty interesting and wide-ranging cast just based on names there. Like there's going to be a lot of interesting people voicing different characters. The artwork looks good. It is set in Middle-earth, and it has been New Line Cinema is producing the film with partnership with Warner Bros. Animation. So they're in charge of it. Warner Bros. Is the secondary. Solar Entertainment is responsible for the animation studios for the film. So they're the ones coordinating the animation studios. We don't know exactly which studios are involved, but from memory, it was WIT or MAPPA. I can't remember which
I think
one.
it was WIT.
MAPPA.
I think
Oh,
it
wait.
was... Oh,
Are you sure?
I thought it was WIT.
I'm probably very wrong. Never mind.
Hold on.
I was
We
going
gotta
with
figure
Miguel.
it out.
Yeah, we need to make sure we're right on this. But it's one of the bigger studios who are the lead studio, and then there's, as with all films, there are 100 support studios.
Don't get me
helping.
wrong, I've seen the trailers. It looks quite good. It looks kind of like what I wanted.
The cast made me excited for it, actually.
Yeah.
Because
Well,
I was like, yeah, I think it could be okay, but I don't know. And then I was like, oh, okay, I'm definitely going to be seated for the cast of that.
It's interesting because the official trailer has all footage from the original films.
yeah.
And then they translate into the animation style, and it fits seamlessly. Like, holy cow. This is looking interesting.
It looks
Looking good, but like I said, wait and see.
Yeah, well,
I've been burned before.
At least you have
grain
a
of
good
salt.
set of actors.
Yeah,
It's just the
exactly.
story that we don't know whether that's going to be good or not. But visually, it looks fine. And
Visually, it looks accurate, like to
Yeah.
both the settings that they did in the film, and Peter Jackson is involved in it apparently. So
Yeah.
I'm just going to jump to like the credits at the end.
so apparently it's not WIT and it's not MAPPA. It's something called Solar Entertainment.
Yeah, but
That's what keeps coming up for me.
Solar.
Yeah, but they're apparently coordinating the studios. They're not the actual studio. Also, there's a little scene in this where someone is grabbing rings and putting them in the pouch. So it's a lot of rings, but maybe they're just collecting rings in case any of them are magical.
Perhaps.
Like 200 years ago, before Lord of the Rings, that would make sense.
Just, yeah, the Civil War in Rohan had nothing to do with the bloody rings.
No, it didn't. But like some were given to the men.
Yes, but by that point, they were already...
Or maybe it's just someone who's looting corpses and they're using that as kind of a, ooh, rings.
Perhaps. I don't know.
It's hard to know.
It's kind of like doing a Star Wars. It's going to have a lightsaber, and it's other stuff happened in Star Wars, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know.
So Solar Entertainment were associate producers on God of High School.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Ruby.
And Ruby. Yeah.
Oh.
Rooster Fight?
Yeah.
Oh, that's coming soon.
Tower of God 1 and 2 production and production management. So they are production management. For Lord of the Rings, they're animation production, which is weird. So I think it's probably a case that they're the lead and then they're outsourcing everything to certain studios.
Yes, the other studios haven't been
Revealed.
told to us. Yeah.
Yeah,
yet.
okay. Well, either way, look, this will be interesting. It could be awful. It could be good. I think it's probably going to be more middle, but compared to recent Lord of the Rings content, I think it probably will be a little bit more direct and just straight to the point, which
That's
is what
not
we kind
saying
of want.
much.
I know.
Apparently, it might be rated R.
Oh.
Wicked.
They said that in the early screenings and the test screenings, it was blood-soaked, is how it was described.
I mean, it
and
is
a lot
war.
of people said, yes, yeah, exactly. And a lot of people said that they believe that this will have an R rating, and it'll be the first Lord of the Rings to have an R rating, which could be MA-15 for us because of how America works. So if those were test screenings in America and they were like, oh, it's so violent, it might be R. So I like the sound of that, though, because I feel like war doesn't always look like war when people do it in films. So I would rather it actually look like a war.
This is interesting. Deadline's got a different article on it as well. The movie centered around the fate of House of Helm Hammerhand, the Mighty King of Rohan, a character from J.R.R. Tolkien's book's appendix, where he outlines the history. Mm-hmm. So they're working off content. They have not just made it up.
But it's just that the lead female character is kind of basically named and mentioned and doesn't serve a huge role, and this is playing her in a more front and center thing. So people are worried that it'll go the Marvel route.
No, that's a different character.
No, the narrator is Eowyn from the
so I do
contemporary
wonder
setting.
how I guess like how much of a main character she really is going to be, or if they're just going to frame it that way. Because it's
We'll
not
see.
going to be through her perspective if they have another narrator who is not her. So
This is true.
and she's not the top listed on IMDb either,
Yeah.
which sometimes is based on who is the biggest. But considering that they have a few unknown names that are higher than some known names on the listing, then I think her character is smaller than we think it is.
My
which
core
also,
suspicion... Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I was just going to say that usually in trailers, if they're good, they will mislead you. So the other characters will have more things that would ruin the story, whereas she might not have as many scenes that ruin the story. So that's why they're using more of her scenes.
Perhaps, yeah.
The voice ensemble that they've listed, actually, Deadline's one lists where all the actors are for. So Lorraine Ashbourne is from Bridgerton.
The
Yazdan
hell?
Kafori is from I Came By, which I don't know. Benjamin Wainwright is from BBC One's World on Fire. Lawrence Ubong Williams is from Gateway. Sean Dooley is from The Witcher. Old season, not new.
Okay.
Yeah. Michael Wildman, Fast and the Furious presents Hobbs and Shaw.
Okay.
Yeah. Jude Akuwudike is Beasts of No Nation. Bilal Hasnan is BBC Sparks. And Janine Duvitsky is ITV's Benidorm. So it sounds like there's a lot of UK actors in this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Definitely.
So it is being executive produced by Oscar winner Philippa Boyens from the screenwriting team behind Lord of the Rings trilogies, and produced by Joseph Chow, who did Blade Runner, Black Lotus. The writing team of Phoebe Gittins and Artie Papa Giorgio have penned the screenplay from a script by Jeffrey Addis and Will Matthews based on the book Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King. The team of creative collaborators returning from Lord of the Rings trilogy also include Alan Lee, Richard Taylor, along with Tolkien illustrator John Howe. Okay, so they have really lent into like the original team from Lord of the Rings and from Hobbit stuff, so that's good. So we'll see. Look, this is meant...
got prestige.
Yeah.
Still.
Look, Luke is playing Wolf, and that's all I care about now. So I don't care about anything else anymore.
I think they've got the wrong date on this because it says the film will be distributed theatrically around the world by Warner Brothers Pictures on April 12, 2024.
No.
This was originally written in 2022.
Aha.
So that's what it is. So we've just had an update since then on what everyone's doing. But it doesn't sound like any of the directors or anything have changed since then, which is good from a production standpoint. It suggests that the production has gone smoothly.
Stable,
which is great.
There's not a whole lot of that lately.
No, there's not.
I mean, what was it? Last Airbender had the creators walk off.
I mean, look, Netflix shows in particular seem to have a lot of drama. So as far as like cast and crew and all that. So, yeah. Last thing, Viz Media has acquired the worldwide merchandising rights outside of Asia for Ranma and a Half in lieu of the new season starting next season. They've partnered with Hot Topic.
Beg your pardon?
For anime apparel this fall, yes. So, in the next 3 months, you will be able to buy Ranma and a Half merch from Hot Topic.
I mean, yay for merch.
Does
but
that mean we might get it at JJ's?
I doubt it, actually, if I'm honest. I feel like if we do, it'll be like 6 months after everybody else has done their collaboration.
Yeah, probably.
That is such a weird...
T-shirts, hoodies, pins, drinkware, throws.
Like
Yeah,
throw
they do like
pillows and
blankets
stuff.
and
Yeah.
throw
stuff.
rugs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
At least it's not body pillows. Okay. It's just okay.
I mean, I'd be okay with that.
Okay, but I mean, I say that's a strange kind of like group to team up with for the merchandising. But I mean, really, who else would like? Who's the big kind of group you would want to?
They would be specialty retailers, wouldn't they?
Probably.
So they'd probably have to team up with Crunchyroll or with like someone who has a shop for merch.
Redbubble.
Oh God. No.
Okay,
I
so
mean, like some of the stuff that you see at Zing here in EB Games, like the lounge fly bags, all that stuff. Hot Topic sells it in America, so like all that stuff they do as
So
well.
maybe it'll be a Zing thing here.
suppose it does make
Yeah.
sense.
A Zing thing.
I really think Zing does need to broaden into more anime market stuff. It's
Yeah, they do.
pop culture and video game culture are like I wouldn't say they're dying, but they're very stagnant.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially like, I mean, let's be honest, like the audience for Marvel films has dropped dramatically. They can't bank on that. The audience for Harry Potter content has dropped dramatically in recent years. The
D&D
audience
content,
for D&D
yeah.
has dropped dramatically. Like there's a lot of stuff that their focus on selling is not actually serving them well anymore, that they need to diversify
Star
further.
Wars.
I mean, yeah, it's all kind of like the same stuff that has been considered niche pop culture for the past 20 years. They need to diversify. They need to include some of the newer content, find some of the more unique properties that are popular, because otherwise they're not going to survive. The game business, EB, is going to go under sooner or later once everything goes digital. So,
It'll be sad, but you know, happens.
yeah. Anyway, that's why I was thinking of Mappa. Ranma and a Half's being animated by Mappa.
That's the one.
Yes,
what it
yes,
is.
they are.
There you go. Anyway, that is where we're going to leave things, so let's wrap up.
Wi-Fi Radio.
Yes, it's where we're going to leave things for this episode. Thank you so much for listening. Next time,
What are we doing?
it might be Zoid's 25th anniversary right now, and we might be talking that, but we cannot do that without Aaron. So we need
That's
to check
true.
if Aaron's available, because me and him are the Zoid boys. Like, I've got my Zoid in the background there.
The
I like my
Zoid
Lego.
boys.
The Zoid boys.
I don't know, Tifa.
Yeah.
In case we can't do that, is there any like anime that you have just had a heart's desire to talk about? Because I kind of foisted us into doing Girls on Panzers.
You did.
I don't know, actually.
We still
I don't
haven't
even know
watched.
what I've been watching recently.
We still haven't watched Monster,
That's true.
Oh, that's true.
but I feel like that's more spooky month content.
Yeah.
And it's 50
Yeah.
episodes. We need time to get across it.
I'm not sure that's fully
Yes.
spooky. That's more like
I mean, it's not spooky. It's straight up murder, but you know.
Always fun.
Yeah. Anyway,
or we could go somewhere left field. We did mention Ex-Holic. That's a weird
That's
one.
true. we did.
yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Oh, Maria Holic.
Oh, God, just as bad. Anyway, look, we'll figure something out, but as we often do say, it's a surprise. But
Yes.
after next episode is when we'll be doing our new season preview, because by then we'll have everything listed and the first week will be out, so we'll be able to give you a little bit of an idea of what we have been able to catch before then and there. If you've enjoyed what you've heard, as always, hit the subscribe button. Join us for future episodes. YouTube loves you. There is a big red shiny button, which we love to talk about it. And
If you've disagreed with anything that we've said, fight me in the comments. I'll take you out.
yes, but first you must subscribe, because behind that is a nice and natural nut butter bar.
Nut butter.
For the first person to subscribe to it.
That
I
sounds-
don't know if we'll mail it to you, but
That sounds dirty.
it does sound dirty. It's because it is. It's the butter of nut.
Bad.
Bad. Anyway, as previously mentioned, YouTube, go join us over there as well. I should finish editing the the Kit Kat video
Kit Kat.
Aaron pointed out. We did that before Tifa went to Japan. I'll get on that in the next couple of weeks.
I'll
I
be
promise.
in Japan again before it gets done, right?
You won't. It'll go out before the wedding.
Send more Kit Kats.
These won't be off. Oh my god. Anyway, big thank you to our Patreon members as always. If you'd like to support the channel, access to the extra content such as the pre-show, outtakes, video extras, and to vote on the upcoming Halloween episode, and that'll be going up in about 3 weeks' time, the voting panel for that. Head over. You can join for as little as $1 a month.
And there's also the Valentine's and White Days episode you can make us...
well, they don't get to vote on Valentine's. We pick Valentine's Day, and then in response, Patreons choose something for White Day.
You get to make us watch degenerate stuff.
Yeah, we tell you, we offer you degeneracy, and in return, a month later, you give us degeneracy.
You get vengeance on us.
Yes. So look, members sharp from $1 a month, and you can also follow us for access to the major show updates without subscribing, because we always put them as open updates as well. The socials, there always is socials.
I'm not social.
Yeah, I know you keep telling people you'll fight them in the comments, but you're not in the comments.
There's no one in the comments.
Yeah, no one's fighting us anyway.
People are cowards.
People are generally nice.
People are generally nice.
Wrong. I have met the people.
I had someone criticize me for the way my beard is cut on one of the Godzilla videos or something. Like, nice video,
Out of all the things.
but your beard, it was like, the way your beard is done is weird. By the way, nice video. I'm just like, thanks. Block. No, the guy's profile was styled to look like Joker. I'm like, I'm not going to take fashion advice from someone who idolizes the Joker. Like,
you want to know how I got this block?
Oh dear. Anyway, you've been listening to Kawaii-Fi Radio. Thank you so much for joining us, and until next time, watch some anime. Thanks.